welcome to ERi-TV English News Broadcast. It's now 10:30 p.m. Asmara time, and we are ready for our domestic and international report for Monday, the 9th of February 2026. Reporting live from our headquarters in Asmara and inviting you to stay with us is Heaven Johannes, your news anchor for this session. To begin with, I present you the top stories. The Ministry of Information issued a press release addressing false accusations by Ethiopia's foreign ministry. Seminar on eradication of harmful practices conducted in San'afe subzone. In our international, South Korea forms committee to fast-track U.S. investment legislation. And Egypt urged deployment of international force to monitor Gaza ceasefire. In today's domestic news, the Ministry of Information has issued the following press release in response to recent allegations made against Eritrea by Ethiopia's foreign ministry. The patently false and fabricated accusations against Eritrea issued by Ethiopia's foreign minister yesterday is astounding in its tone and substance, underlying motivation and overarching objective. Sadly, it constitutes yet another deplorable act in a pattern and spiral of hostile campaigns against Eritrea for more than 2 years now. As underlined before, the government of Eritrea has no appetite for or desire to engage in meaningless acrimony to add fuel and exacerbate the situation. Ministry of Information, Asmara, February 9th, 2026. In another news, a seminar aimed at eradicating harmful practices in general and underage marriage and female genital mutilation in particular was conducted in administrative areas of the eastern escarpment of San'afe subzone on February 4th and 5th. At the seminar, Ms. Emuna Saleh, head of foreign relations at the National Union of Eritrean Women, gave an extensive briefing on the health and psychological consequences of underage marriage and female genital mutilation. She also called for reinforced public participation in efforts to eradicate these practices. Ms. Emuna, noting that the prevalence of underage marriage and female genital mutilation has not yet been totally eradicated in the areas, called for strengthened participation to prevent the suffering of women caused by such harmful practices. Ms. Sanait Afwerki, head of the National Union of Eritrean Women in the southern region, on her part, noted that commendable efforts have been exerted to enhance the role of women in economic, cultural, social and political sectors, but emphasized that stronger efforts are still needed to eradicate harmful practices. The participants on their part expressed readiness to play their due role in the effort and called on the concerned institutions to conduct a relentless public awareness-raising activities. Moving on, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the southern region indicated that strong efforts are being exerted to enhance organizational capacity and youth development through the design of various programs. At the conclusion event of the Training on Administration and Leadership, Mr. Girmay Gabru, head of the union branch in the region, said that enhancing the overall capacity of youth is a timely task of the union. Mr. Girmay stated that training on administration and leadership was provided to 1,247 students, including 629 female students from 33 secondary schools in the region, from 24 January to 5 February. The training covered concepts of administration and leadership, the uniqueness of Eritrean history, communication skills, among other topics. Speaking at the occasion, Mr. Walday Gebra, chairman of the Regional Assembly, urged the students to develop a reading culture, focus on innovation and creativity, and avoid harmful practices and addictions. Ms. Amete Ngusa, secretary of the PFDJ in the region, on her part, called on the students to take advantage of the educational opportunities being provided and play their due part in development programs. Meanwhile, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the northern Red Sea region provided training on administration and leadership to its members from the subzones of Naqfa, Qarora, Af'abat, Sha'ib, Massawa, Foro and Gal'alo. The training covered administration and leadership, peer pressure, the importance of organization, and concepts of ideology and politics, among other topics. At the conclusion event of the training on February 7th, Mr. Saleh Ahmed, head of organizational affairs of the union branch in the region, said that the objective of the training was to enhance the leadership qualities of youth and enable participants to share experiences with one another. Noting that the training was part of the union branch program to enhance the capacity of its members, Mr. Suleiman Yusuf, head of political affairs of the union branch, called on the trainees to apply the knowledge they gained from the training in their daily activities. Highlighting the significance of the training, Mr. Idris Ali, head of political affairs of the PFDJ in the northern Red Sea region, called on the trainees to become role models for their peers. This wraps up our domestic news for this session. Dear viewers, do stay tuned, for we shall be back with the international ones after the short break. Welcome back. Our focus now shifts to the global arena. South Korea's Congress voted today to form a special committee to accelerate legislation tied to the country's $350 billion investment commitments in the United States under a trade agreement between the two countries. The committee's launch follows U.S. President Donald Trump's abrupt announcement in late January that tariffs on South Korean autos, pharmaceuticals, timber and other goods would be raised back to 25% from 15%, accusing the country of failing to legislate a trade deal agreed last year. Parliamentary Speaker Woo Won-shik urged the committee to begin work immediately and aim to pass the related legislation by the end of February. The proposal to form the committee passed with 160 votes in favor, 3 opposing and 1 abstention. The 16-member panel will include 8 lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Party, 7 from the opposition People Power Party and 1 from outside the 2 major blocs, with a People Power Party lawmaker serving as chair. The committee will operate under a 30-day mandate. In today's final report, Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati called for the immediate deployment of an international stabilization force to monitor the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The Foreign Minister made the appeal during a phone call with his Greek counterpart, George Gerapetris, as the two diplomats discussed escalating regional tensions, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. Foreign Minister Abdelati emphasized the critical need to advance the second phase of the U.S. proposed peace plan, including deploying the International Stabilization Force to Gaza, which was endorsed by the UN Security Council in November last year. He restated Egypt's support for the newly formed Palestinian Technocratic National Committee for the administration of Gaza, describing it as a vital transitional body to address daily administrative and humanitarian needs. The committee, established in mid-January, is intended to pave the way for the Palestinian Authority's full return to governance in the territory, he affirmed. The minister also stressed the importance of ensuring a continuous flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza and laying the groundwork for early recovery and reconstruction. The current ceasefire, in effect since October 10, has initially focused on prisoner exchange and aid delivery. The proposed next phase envisions a full Israeli military withdrawal, the disarmament of Hamas, and the start of reconstruction under transitional governance. With this, we conclude our domestic and international report for this session. Dear viewers, before we finalize, I present you the top stories once more. The Ministry of Information issued a press release addressing false accusations by Ethiopia's Foreign Ministry. Seminar on eradication of harmful practices conducted in Sana'a subzone. South Korea forms committee to fast-track U.S. investment legislation. And Egypt urged deployment of international force to monitor Gaza ceasefire. This was the World on Monday with ERi-TV English News Broadcast. Dear viewers, from all of us here, thank you for watching.